So let's discuss about volume object. So there are different kinds of volume. Volume is nothing but the storage. Okay. So volume refers to a storage. Now it can be a type of local storage or network storage. Okay. So different kinds of volume here if we talk about. So first is host path. Host path. That means where we are hosting the pods and all. So at the same place or the same machine, we are hosting the volume as well. Okay. So that is host path, which we have seen in the last class where we created the secret, but we provided the secret in a text file like pass.txt. And then what we did, we make use of volume and volume mount to mount that particular file at some place. And then only we can uh, get the secret or see the secret. Otherwise, if it is not mounted or the volume path is not mounted, secret cannot be viewed or seen by anyone else. Okay. So first is host path. So this is kind of a local volume, you can say local volume. Okay. Uh, Second type of volume is network volume. So in the network volume, we have different volumes. Like we have Azure files, Azure file share. This comes in the category of what? Network volume. Network volume. We are not managing. Okay, cloud is managing. Azure file is there. Azure, if we talk about other providers. So we have AWS Elastic Block Store. AWS Elastic Block Store. EBS basically. Elastic Block Store. Here we have Azure Disk as well. Okay. Then if we talk about Google and Google Persistent Disk. Google Persistent Disk. Then some other kind of network volume, like if you are creating a server, okay. So on-prem, if we talk about, so you can create NFS network file system. You can install in a Linux machine. Okay, or then EFS, Elastic File System. Okay, like these kind of storage, different storages we can have. Okay, well, let's discuss about host volume. Generally, we will study only two types, like host and network. So first is host path. Host path volume. So this is a local volume. Host will be your node. Here the host will be your node. It is a local volume attached to your server. Attached to your node or server, you can say. Now, here there are two properties. Two properties. What are these two properties? So first is volume, root properties. Okay, two root properties. We need to define these properties in the YAML file. So two root properties. What are these two root properties? Volume. Second is volume mount. Volume mount. Needs to be mentioned in YAML or manifest file. Manifest file. Okay, YAML is also known as manifest file. So two root properties. Okay, using these two properties, we can mount the volumes. So how you can mount the volumes? There can be question. Okay, how you can mount the volume in Kubernetes? So using above two properties, we can mount the volume. So when will be this volume will be needed? So volume will be needed when you will be having some stateful applications. Okay, any stateful applications. Suppose just a minute. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. So let us understand with one of the applications. Suppose Let's understand volume and volume mount first. So I'll go to, sorry, I'll go to that environment. If someone wants to practice for this Kubernetes exams as well, like certifications, then this playground provides for CK, CKAD, provide the desired environment for CK, CKAD. You can practice here. Okay, so let's create a file here. Suppose vi host host path dot yaml i API version, that is v1, kind is pod, kind will be pod, metadata is the name basically. So we are creating host path. So let the name of the pod be host path hyphen demo. Specifications. The specifications will be containers name. Suppose the name is app, and image, any image I'm taking. Okay, for this I've used. So I'm giving one command as well here. Now we'll use volume mount. Name of the volume mount, host volume, suppose. And what is the mount path? So mount path, data, then comes the volumes. So name, again calling that host volume, host hyphen volume, and then the host path. Now we'll give the path here. Suppose let's take the path inside the var, inside log. And what is this? This is the type directory. Type is directory. So here volume, using the volume, like it declares a volume named host volume of type host path. So this volumes declare a name host volume and it is type host path. Okay, host path. And in the host path, so slash var slash log on the host will be mounted. Okay, and volume mounts the volume into the container. So in the container, this container, busy box, which we created, okay, inside the pod, will be hosting this var and log, okay, log directory. So whatever volume is we are defining in the server, that will go and will be hosted, okay. Suppose this is my server, okay, and means my node, okay. This is my node. Inside the node, I have one place, okay, or one volume. Suppose this is the volume. Suppose this is the volume. Okay. Now, what volume is this? Where I've defined. So this is like kind of var and log. That is the directory. So this is slash var slash log. Now what we are running inside the node? So we are running the pod inside the node. So suppose this is that pod. Okay. This is that pod. Pod. Inside the pod, we are running what? We are running containers. So suppose here we are running container. Suppose C1 is that container and the name of that container is, okay. So that we have mentioned like busy box images there, busy box. Okay. For example, busy box. So I'll write here, this busy box is nothing but the image. Okay. You can use any image. Okay. Busy box. Okay. This is the image. Now what we have to do, we will mention the volume. Okay. So for this, root property is mentioned as volume. Root property is mentioned as volume. And here root property is used as volume mount. So that directory will be mounted as, okay, here root property is mentioned as volume mount. Volume mount. And the volume will get mounted inside the container. Which path it will go, and so data and slash host inside the container will get mounted inside the container at path slash data slash host. Okay. So what path is here inside the container? It is slash data slash host path inside the container. Everyone understand what I'm saying? Hello?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, Abhishek, I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
So every state application, they have
Mm-hmm.
a value mount.
Come again?
Like if organization having a state application, that
Mm-hmm.
should have the value mount for each and every application.
Like depends. Like if one volume mount is enough, like if your server is having that much of space, or like then one will be enough. Or if you want to mount it differently in different servers, then you have to perform this manually by going to each and every server, and like you, what you can do, you can select the node at the time of deploying. Okay, I want to deploy this in this particular node, so you can do that by mentioning inside the YAML file. Suppose I want to do this in node 1, so I can perform in node 1 or node 2, node 3 separately. Okay.
Yeah, and can we limit the volume? Like is there or less like unlimited? Like when we mention the volume mount, the path.
Host volume will be limited. Network volume can be unlimited because that is provided by cloud provider like Azure File Share or anything. So there is no limit in that. You can host any kind of any amount of data into that in the network volume. But node volume will be restricted as a your capacity of that particular node or server. Okay.
Okay, is it like the value mount like in persistent volume claim and persistent volume
But
like
that is different.
volume?
I'll come to
That's
that. That is a different.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this is known as direct mapping. Okay. So what I just showed you, this is direct mapping. Direct mapping. And is not recommended. You understand? And is not recommended. What is recommended? Always to go with PV and PVC, persistent volume and persistent volume claims. Okay, that is recommended. So this is direct mapping and is not recommended. So to map the volume, always follow indirect mapping. Indirect mapping. That is using PV and PVC. You understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Using PV and PVC. All right, important. It will be asked. It can be asked in the interview. Okay? Important. So actually, you should just know what is the difference. That's it. If you will able to tell this, then everyone will come to know. Okay, you know the concept. No issues. Okay. So mapping concept is clear, right? How we map the volume using host path. Okay. Now the same can be done using the uh, network volume as well. But in that case, instead of using the host volume path in the volume property, we will be using some network path like Azure file share path. Okay. So we will, in the volume property, we will mention uh, Azure file share path, and that file share path will be mapped to the container then. So that will become a network volume. Okay. So that is the concept. Oh. Say nothing different, same as the host volume. Okay. So this is like host path volume. And if same can be mentioned, okay, everything will be same. So now in this case, this is a, okay. Let me cut this. Let me cut this over here. Okay. Now in this case, here we have our cloud. Okay. So here we have our cloud. Suppose Azure file share. Azure file share. And this is file share path. Okay, this is file share. So instead of this variable or something, here it will be file share path. File share path. So now this type of mapping is network volume. Okay. This is also direct mapping only, but network volume. So direct mapping with network volume. Network volume. Example, Azure file share. Example, Azure file share. And this is direct mapping with host path volume. This part is clear, right? Everyone? Hello?
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. Okay. So we were here. Okay. Let's try to run this if this busy box image I've just taken from the internet only. Okay. So I'm not sure it will work or not. Okay. Let's see.
Abhishek, why we given the command sleep command?
Which command?
Sleep.
Okay, that to run inside the like when you will be mapping the mount, na, you should have to stop or the container basically. So that sleep command has been given that once it is done, mapping is done, it should come up. Or kind of you can say uh, service will be stopped at the time of mapping. Otherwise, what will happen in the volume? Suppose the continuous data is coming by the application. Okay. So at that particular time, if you host or add the path, there might be a chance of missing some data over there. So some sleep time has been given over there. Understand?
You mean the sleep is nothing but service will be down or like server will be down? I
Server
didn't
will
get.
not be down, but like a customer will not face any issue while running the website. Okay. Now, this is pod we are using here. This is pod we are using here. But when we will be using rolling update kind of strategy, like deployment strategy, then it will do it one by one. Like suppose we are running three replicas. So first will be down, second will be down, third. So when first will be down, another one will come up, the new one for that. And it will transfer that. All the data will be transferred to the second path. So since here we are using only pod, so pod does not have the property to you can say rolling update or any kind of properties. Pod object does not have that. So we have to stop that, then only we can mount. Otherwise, if you are using deployment strategy, the deployment strategy is capable in itself to so that it should not face any downtime or something. Got it?
Okay.
Yeah. Let's try to run this one. Host part demo created. kubectl get pods. Okay. I think we should go inside the container to check that. So kubectl execute what was that command? I just forgot.
TI.
Come again?
hyphen ti and should be pod name, right? You want to go to pod inside pod?
Execute, I think host, what is the, what was the path name? Just, it was, okay. The name of the pod was host path demo, right? Host path hyphen demo, sorry, demo hyphen interactive mode hyphen space sh. Okay, we are inside the container. Mm, and what path we have shown? It was, I think, data and host. So cd data, cd host. Do we see any log or, okay, I think these are log files only. So since the log directory is mounted inside the host, so that's why we are seeing inside the host, you can see we are seeing all the log files here, right? Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the log files are seen over here since we have mounted it. Okay. So that's why. Let's do an exit. Cat host path dot yaml. Let me copy this and paste it over here. For network volume, we have to create some maybe file share. I am not sure. Maybe if I'll having some example, I need to find out for network volume. Copy. Then we'll see. As of now, I don't have any example for network volume. Since like we need to create a file share first, then map it, and then we can show. So I'll just show as of now this one only, direct mapping of host path. For YAML configuration for host path. Host path. This is the one. So vi host path YAML, and then here to apply to apply kubectl apply hyphen f host path dot yaml to check need to go inside the container to path slash data slash host and check the logs. Check the logs. Has the var slash log from the node is mapped to the container path. To the container path. So now you can have kubectl execute host path hyphen demo, that is the pod, hyphen IT, that is interactive mode, hyphen sh. This will take you to inside the container. Here you can execute like cd, or first you can do ls to list, and then cd data slash host. You can verify the logs. Verify the logs. So similar kind of thing, just we have to mention here, instead of volume, we will mention network volume, like network hyphen volume or NFS volume or any kind of volume from the network side. And we will mention the path. If it's a file share, we will mention the file share path, type of file share path. Okay. Type means whether it's a directory in the file share, whether it's a file in the file share, whatever it is. Okay. Just we need to change this part, nothing else. The rest will all be same. So this is direct mapping. Let's talk about indirect mapping. Okay. So indirect mapping. Using map the volume using PV, that is persistent volume, PV and PVC. What is PV? It's persistent volume. What is PVC? It is persistent volume claim. Claims basically. Okay. Now we will create a manifest file that will you make use of PVC to get access to the PV. Okay. So create a pod manifest file which will make use of PVC to get an access to the PV, persistent volume. So what is PV here? So PV is create a PV for host path or network volume. network volume, host path or host path volume or network volume. What is network volume here? Maybe it may be NFS, it may be EBS, Azure file share, or EBS. EBS from it is from AWS. Okay, so don't be confused. What is EBS? Elastic Block Store. Okay, so you can make use of these volumes as a part of network volume. So first you need to create a PV for the host path, and then you need to create a manifest file where you will mention the persistent volume claim, PVC claim, and basically PVC claim will get an access to the PV. Let me take an example. Just searching for an image. It's like so let us create a persistent volume. Let me clear this. So pv.yaml. So vi pv.yaml plus ni API version. So that will be v1. Kind will be persistent volume. Persistent volume. So I'm creating a persistent volume first. Okay. Metadata. And in the metadata, we will be having the name. So suppose let's give the name as my PV, and then specifications. In the specifications, let me give capacity. Okay. In the capacity, I'll give storage capacity. Storage. Okay. So let's the storage be 1G. Okay. So for 1 GB, we mention like this. Okay. 1 GI. Then access modes. How to access? So you have to give about the access mode. So hyphen, I'll give read write once. Okay. So access modes are basically how that can be accessed, like only read write or read write once or like this. There are different access modes. Okay. So I'll use read write once. Write once. This is the access mode. And then persistent volume claim policy. What type of policy you want to use? Will it be like once or like retain or how it is? Like persistent persistent volume reclaim policy. Reclaim policy. So whether it can be retained or not. So that is, let's take retain. Okay. And then give the host path. Host path. Okay. So again, I'm taking an example of host path only because there is no network volume. Okay. So host path. The concept should be clear, whether it is with host path volume or network volume, doesn't matter. So I'm taking MNT drive this time. Okay. MNT. Inside the MNT, there is a data drive. Okay. Let's take the data drive inside the MNT. Okay. So this is my persistent volume, PV dot YAML. I'll press an escape, :WQ exit. So this is my pv.yaml. Now I'll create my pvc.yaml. Okay. So vi pvc.yaml. Press an I, API version v1 kind persistent volume claim. Okay. Persistent volume claim. Okay. Metadata. On the metadata, this is my PVC. Okay, let's take the name as my PVC name, my hyphen PVC. Okay, and let's take these specifications, specs. Access modes, again, read write once. Since we have mentioned the same in the PV. So access modes. So this is read write once. And the resources. So in the resources, again, if you remember the pv.yaml, what resource we have attached? What resource we have attached? Storage, right? Storage 1G, right? Right or wrong? So requests. In the request, what we are requesting here from the PV, we are requesting storage, which we have mentioned over there. So you can mention number of PVs in the persistent volume file, pv.yaml. Okay. And then you can request here in the PV that what PV you want to map. Okay. So I want to map storage. It's not like that you can mention only one PV. Okay. You can mention number of PVs in the PV file. Okay. So now it was 1GI. That was the, so this is my PVC. Escape, :WQ exit. Now I have pv.yaml, pvc.yaml. Okay. Now how pod will use the PVC? So now the pod, okay. So vi, this will be like pod.yaml. Okay. Press an I, API version This is V1. Kind is pod. Kind is pod. Metadata. So name of the pod. So suppose my hyphen pod is the name of the pod. Specifications, containers. So name of the container, hyphen name, my hyphen container. Uh, image. So let's use Nginx uh, volume mount, volume mounts, volume mounts. So in the volume mount, we will be having the mount path, hyphen mount path. So let's take user share inside the Nginx. Let's have HTML. Okay. So now name of this mount path. So I'll give my storage, my hyphen storage, and then comes the volume now. Volumes, hyphen name. What is the name we have just given? Above my storage, my hyphen storage. Okay. And what we'll mention here? Persistent volume claim. Because we are not direct mapping here. We are going through persistent volume claim, which will give me access to the persistent volume. Okay. Everyone understand, right? Persistent volume. Is it difficult or how? Like, are you getting it, everyone?
Yeah, somehow.
Come again.
Yeah, we are getting somehow, but it should
No,
be
I think
practice
by
or
that diagram it is clear what I've explained, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So persistent volume claim. Actually, you have to practice, man. Okay. Without practice, you cannot do. So even if it will be asked in the interview and they will ask to write PV and PVC. So like if you will not practice, you will not be able to write. You may be able to clear the concept, but you will not be able to write it if you don't practice. You will get confused. So my PVC. So my PVC was the persistent volume claim. So pod will reach out to my PVC and my PVC will reach out to PV and then it will mount the path. So that is known as indirect mapping. So PV is created manually via storage class and PVC is requesting the storage from the PV. And then using Kubernetes, we are binding the PVC to match the PV. And then pod is using the PVC by referencing it in the volume block. This is the flow, basically. Escape, colon, WQ, exit. Let's create PVC first, PV first, okay. kubectl apply hyphen f pv dot yaml. PV created, apply pvc dot yaml. So PVC created, and now we'll be running the pod. Okay. So kubectl apply instead of PVC pod.yaml. Oh, what happened? Error when creating pod. Pod in version v1 cannot be handled as pod. What happened? Vi vi pod.yaml. Please find the mistake over here. What API version v1 kind is pod metadata, my pod specification containers, name my container image nginx, volume mount path. Please, everyone. Containers, my container, nginx, volume mounts, okay, and the mount path, that is also fine. Name is my hyphen storage. Then comes the volumes. And
I think volumes name should be
pod, like
seems
YAML
like
file name should not be the pod. That's what. Hello.
for volume. Can you the hyphen name this could be the indentation name, like it could be
Name of the volume or like what?
name only
Mm-hmm.
press back. It should be equal to volume, it seems. Not wrong. That's not a child, right? Like volume under volume name is a child.
Volume under volume name. Like yeah, it is.
Volumes, I think in the last
Mhm.
block, under the volume, a name. Okay. Is that a child
This
or it should be,
this name.
yeah, this one.
No, actually, what we are doing from volume mount represent the path in your server. Now from the server, we are taking this path, user, share, nginx, and HTML. Okay. After creating the container, like this will go, pod will continue. And what pod will do till here, it will create the container. So it created the container. What container? We are using nginx image. So it created nginx. Now,
So,
what
okay.
is
I
inside
think I think the claim name also should be my storage.
this name?
Uh,
No, but we are asking the PVC to get the PV, to get an access to the PV. We are asking the PVC to get an access to the PV. That's okay. Great. This is the parameter mistake, root parameter mistake. Got it. Uh, Instead of claim, like I just mentioned claim over there, it should be claim
Same name, no?
name.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you pointed it right. Okay. Uh, Claim name, and now it will work. Escape, learn WQ exit, kubectl apply. Yes, pod is created. Now, my storage mount path here. Now, okay, great. Cat PV dot YAML. What was the, okay, my PV and mount slash data. Okay, mount slash data. So data should be there inside the HTML. Okay, now let's go inside the container. Okay, uh, kubectl execute. What was the pod name? My pod, or what it is? My pod. Okay, my hyphen pod. Oh, 5 minutes left. I have to copy this as well. Okay. My pod hyphen it hyphen space sh. Uh, we are inside the pod, and it is under where it was user. Okay. No file. Okay. Let me copy this first, otherwise it will. Uh, cat tv dot cat tv dot YAML cat pvc dot YAML. Okay, just a second. Uh, I'll leave up to you guys. Okay. Please check whether it is mounted or not after performing. Okay. Everyone, please do it. Right?
Sure, Abhishek.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I have to mention all these steps in uh, rep- like GitHub. I have to create that, but I'm not getting time to create it for the Kubernetes. Okay.
Abhishek, do you have any guide Kubernetes related issues troubleshooting?
Guide.
So
There
how
is
how
no there is no bigger guide than ChatGPT nowadays. So please use it. Do not look for any guide. Okay, it's very, 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 very efficient. But please use
okay?
ChatGPT.
So
Okay.
we are in basic, right? So that's the reason. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Okay.
We should know minimal knowledge, right?
Have you used
If we use
ChatGPT
that.
till now?
Yeah, we are using daily basis.
Okay, okay. Please use it for anything. Okay, like any purpose. It will definitely like give you a resolution for that.
Okay.
Even nowadays, I've seen developers, they are integrating it with the this Visual Studio and all. So everyone is using. Please leverage.
Correct.
Yeah. So this is okay. Uh, I'll give you a short summary just here. Okay. I'll write down the summary, which will help you to explain. Okay. So in the summary, uh, we have first step, PV is created. PV is created manually or dynamically via storage class. Storage class. Second step, PVC request the storage. PVC. In the PVC ML you have seen, we have requested the storage. So requests the storage. Third, Kubernetes binds the PVC. Kubernetes binds the PVC to a matching PV. Okay, there can be number of PVs which can be defined in the PV file. Okay, so only the matching PV. Okay, and fourth one is pod uses the PVC by referencing in the volume block. So inside the volumes block, what we are using? Persistent volume claim as a reference, which requests the PVC to get an access to the PV. So referencing in the volumes block. So this is a short summary of the indirect mapping. This is how you can explain indirect mapping using PV and PVC. Okay, so everything is clear now? Everyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Now we are left with scaling. In the next class, we'll complete scaling as well, Kubernetes scaling. And then we are good to move ahead.